All right, so people don't really consider this, but I've mentioned it to a couple friends, and they're like, wow, that's actually a pretty good idea. I never really thought about that. So when you're born, I don't care who you are, you have a finite amount of heartbeats, okay? Your heart's only going to beat so many times before you die, all right? There's a finite set amount. You can't add to it, and you can die prematurely. So you can't extend your life. So the more you work out trying to make your heart better to live longer, all you're doing is wearing out your beats, all right? Because if you have a healthy heart, you're not going to make it any healthier. Yeah, you can exercise your muscles and make them bigger, but your heart doesn't change. It's at its maximum capacity of healthiness, okay? All you can do is make it worse and die prematurely, or you can keep a healthy heart and let it beat itself out. So this explains why it doesn't really matter if you work out or you don't. As long as you've got a healthy heart, you're going to let your heart beat its finite amount of beats, and that's the end of your life. So say you have 10 billion beats in your heart. So you wear your heartbeats out. You work out all the time. You let it work itself out, and you think you're going to live a long time. Then you die at 60 years old. See what I'm saying? But if you have a calm, restful existence and a slower, resting heart rate, then you can actually live a lot longer. It's about calmness and meditation. It's not about exercising. That's a lie. I think that's a lie to let people think that that's the truth, so they do all this working out and it just kills people sooner than they should have died. See what I'm saying? Just a way to get people to die to control population. So you only have a finite set of heartbeats in your chest, literally. And to keep a healthy heart, all you have to do is just eat right and stuff like that. Don't do speed and shit, because that's just going to make your heart, bump harder, faster. And that's just accelerating your death rate. That's going to bring death to you a lot sooner. So if you want to have a longer life, it's not exercising and making your heart beat faster. It's resting your heart. It's a slower resting heart rate. That's how you extend your life. And that kind of coincides with that guy that said that supposedly has lived 260 years old or whatever. Because he said the key is move slow like a turtle and eat specific things that are actually good for you. And that right there makes perfect sense to me. I mean, I've always thought this. And then when I read that a couple years ago about this guy, that's almost everybody's read about this guy, and read about what he said about how to live this long. And in today's society, a lot of stuff isn't healthy for us. And we get heart disease. Why? It's almost like they're programming us to have heart disease. It's almost like they know exactly what can cause heart disease, and then they put it out in the world and then try to give us this idea that it's good for us. So we ingest it and do it and all this stuff, and all we're doing is killing ourselves sooner. Just like pop or coffee. Now, I read this study that said that coffee is good for you. There's something in coffee that's good for your body, but technically when you think about it, it's a stimulant, and it's going to make your heart bump faster. So you're literally wearing your heartbeats out. Okay? Now, all this is just a theory, but it's not necessarily debunkable, because technically it's all logic. I mean, it's logic. You can't make your heart healthier. It's as healthy as it's going to get. If you have a healthy heart, you cannot make it any healthier. You can't make your heart buff and stout and strong if it's already buff and stout and strong. Okay? I mean, think about it. If your heart got stronger and bigger like you do when you work out, then it would be like way out here, whenever the hell because by the time you reach 20 or something, because it's been beating and working all that time. It doesn't get any bigger and better. As long as it's healthy, it's healthy. The only thing you can do is hurt it. That's it. So, just throwing some stuff out there that people technically don't realize. Because people need to start thinking outside the box. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, if people would pay a little bit closer attention to things. But it's hard to do, I understand, because I was blind for a long time. I was blind for years. Until I finally started, I gave up the cable and radios. All I watch is stuff that I've seen 1,000 times. That anything I put in my head is stuff I've seen 1,000 times. So nothing new comes in except for what I direct in my head. What I purposely will read to put in my head. I don't watch the news. I just listen to what other people have to say about it. And, I just don't fill my head with a bunch of garbage. I only fill my head with directly what I want to go in it. That's it. And since I started doing that, a lot of things has been coming apparent to me. And I sat back and just watched the world. And when you do this, you see a lot of bad things going on. You see a lot of flaws. You see a lot of problems. And you start seeing all the things, all the big lies that were fed. And once this stuff becomes apparent, it drives you crazy to know that other people don't know. When you have a good heart and you really want to see the best for everyone, it kills you to see all this bad stuff happen. And it kills you to see people dooming themselves deliberately because they don't know any better. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to enlighten people a little bit so they don't doom themselves. I mean, I'm no better than anyone else, but at least I do have an open mind. And I do see things that some people don't see. And I just want them to be able to acknowledge the same thing so they can better themselves too.